Hi you guys, it's Karina. So I am back with another video tutorial, and today we're going to be working on my template 58, and we're going to be making this mermaid inspired flower. As you can see, call it mermaid because you can kind of see those scales right there. So I did work on a mermaid theme backdrop for a little girl, and I made a similar set, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, and I never got to making the tutorial on this flower right here. I did receive a couple of requests back then, so I figured, you know what, let's make a video on her, on how to make her. So I did use my Cricut design space for the scales and the center, okay? And so I'm going to show you how to do that with Cricut design space, okay? So this flower roughly does measure around 18 inches, the one right here. So there are smaller versions of this template if you want something smaller, like this pink one right here, that's a smaller version, and then this one. So I do have I want to say it's 4 other different sizes similar to this one. But again, I'm going to show you the technique with the scales, and you can apply this pretty much to any other templates that you may have. All right, you guys, so we are on Design Space right now. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you the name of the image that I used for the scales. So this is the image that I used. So here's called Mermaid Scales Pattern. So if you want to type in this number right here, type in this whole number here on the search to give you, if you want this exact pattern. But there are other patterns. So if you want to use another pattern, you would just, hopefully it would work with how I'm going to show you how to add the scales to the petals. And then I'm going to be showing you my template 58 as well. But again, you can use any other template that you want for this. Okay, you guys, apologies if it's kind of shaky and if I'm out of breath. I am trying to rush through this because my kids are almost home from school. So I'm trying to take advantage of doing this before they get here, because if not, I will never get it done. So here is what my SVG template 58 will look like. So it will come with 4 petals and directions, okay? Now, the petals are not sized to the correct measurements. So in the description, and this goes with all my SVGs, it's gonna tell you what size you're going to have to change it. So for this tutorial, I'm gonna be using the largest petal and then the 2 smallest. So I am omitting the second largest petal, okay, which is this red one right here. So I'm only going to be using only these 3 petals right here. So let me show you. So for the pink petal, it says that we need to change the height to 9.9. So we don't change the width, because as you can see, the width is automatically changing with the height. And you want to make sure that that locked key, or the lock, not a lock key, but that lock that you see here is locked, okay? So then that way the proportions are the same. So there we go, 9.9. So I already changed the measurements to that one. And then you would do the same to these, where you would change the measurements. So this is the image, as I said, that I used for the scales. Oh, hold. Sorry, I had to pause. My little one needed me. I still have my small one here. Okay, so you're gonna grab your petal. So you're gonna make sure that the petal is in front of whatever backdrop that you're gonna be using, okay? So what I like to do is I kind of like to go to the top right here. So you see this top right here, the tip? Kind of like to go like that. So there you go. We have the full petal. Now, if you're wondering the size of this, 13.281 for the width, and height 10, okay? So now you're gonna select all. So you wanna make sure that you select the petal along with the backdrop. Oh, hold on, one more thing. Get this petal, duplicate it. Move it to the side. Now select all. You're going to go to slice. You see that right there? click on it? There we go. So when you click on slice, this is what's going to happen. It's gonna slice the scales. So this part right here, delete. This part right here, delete. And this is what you are going to have right here. So essentially that's what you're going to get. And that is how I add the scales to my petals, okay? So it's pretty much just a slicing an image, okay? So let me show you that again. So for example, let's get this petal. This petal is magenta 6.2. So let's move it to 6.2. Yep. Okay. So let's show you again how to do that. So again, you can apply this to any other template that you may have. You don't necessarily have to do the same one. So grab this petal, duplicate your petal, okay? Now bring your petal, put it wherever you want. Let's go, actually, let's just go back up here again. We'll go right there. It doesn't matter. Like, for example, let me show you if we do here in the middle. And I'm sorry again if this is so shaky for you guys. So there's your petal. You're going to slice. So remember, it's all the way on the bottom over here. And you'll know if it's sliced when you see the scales right here. So then this part you're going to remove, delete. And here is the part that you want. And let me change the color of that so you can, yeah, let's go with black. There we go. Okay, so then those are your scales. And then this over here, you can just delete. Honestly, I mean, you can keep this other part over here. You can slice it again if you want to use a smaller petal. But I just wanted to show you that technique on how I sliced the image to get the petals in. Isn't that cute? Super adorable. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to cut out your petals. So let me take you back to the petals. Okay, so here are my petals on the canvas. So of the largest petal, you're going to need 6, and then 6 as well for the smallest 2 petals. Remember, we're omitting that second largest petal, okay? So you're only gonna do a 3-layer. Of course, you can do all 4 petals if you would like. I just didn't want to. I just wanted to keep it with 3. And that is because I want the focus to be on the scales and on the center, okay? I don't want the focus to be so much on the actual flower. I want the scales to pop along with the center, okay? So I am cutting this out with glitter cardstock from Michaels, okay? And you wanna make sure, at least for me, it works to cut on the on the glitter cardstock setting, okay? It's gonna do 2 passes if you are going to cut with glitter cardstock, and mine is 65 pound weight for Michaels. I wanna say that's the pound it is, the cardstock. I don't know, I got the long, what is it? 12 by 24, the really long one. Let me show you, it's over here. I already had it cut, do you see that? So, and it did require 2 full sheets. It did require 2 full sheets, okay? So mine is all cut, and again, I did the glitter settings. And then for the actual petals, I just did 65 pound weight purple cardstock as well from them, but I just did the cardstock setting. Okay, you guys, so let me show you now how you're going to add the scales. Now, personally, I don't recommend hot glue when gluing on the scales. For me, I find it when it dries, you can feel the bumps of the hot glue, and it's just too hard, and you can kind of see the bumps. I personally don't like that, okay? Can it work? Yes, but for me, I just, no. And that's because I have been introduced to this glue, okay? It is the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. I am obsessed. I started using this, I want to say 2 years ago. you know, I always saw all these other girls using it on Instagram, and I finally caved because they were loving it. And I'm like, okay, let me try it out. Oh my goodness, where has it? This honestly is so amazing. So I'm not being sponsored by them. This is from Amazon. I have myself another bottle right here. Like, I am obsessed with this glue, okay? And I like it because the tips, they give you different types of tips for the nozzle, and personally this is my favorite right here, this really thin one. I mean, it's just perfect. It works with any crafts. Now what you're going to do is you're going to need an adhesive glue. Again, you don't need this one, you can use whatever you want, a glue stick if you want. And I'm going to be using my brayer. I just like this one too because it dries clearly, because you know, when you're trying to put on the scales, I don't always do it the first time. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your petals, and you're going to try to kind of see where it's going to go, okay? And you're going to add small little dots. This is how I do it. I add small little dots all around the back. Now, I will tell you, it is time consuming, hence why you only see one mermaid flower with scales, because it is time consuming. So just full warning, okay? So you're just gonna do small little dots around. And again, the nice thing about this glue is that it dries clear. Now, I am, just FYI, I'm going to show you this part, and I'm going to prep all my petals today, but I'm going to come back tomorrow and finish the tutorial because I'm going to let these dry. You need to give it, I typically let them dry for like 30 minutes for them to fully dry, until then I start working with them and curling the petals. And I figure, you know, my kids are going to be about to be home from school, and I already know I'm going to have to, you know, attend to them. So I'll be back tomorrow to finish this tutorial for you guys. But so here is a scale. So here are my dots. I don't know if you can see them. And then we're going to place the scales. Okay. So now what I like to do is I like to get a brayer. So you can find these pretty much at any craft store. This is from the brand Zenart. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I did get this off Amazon. And you're just going to lightly push down. This is just making sure that the glue is spreading. You want to make sure that it is adhering to the cardstock. And that's all. Now, you don't have to use cardstock if you don't want to. I just want to give it like a little blink. So again, the cardstock is from Michaels along with this one. This is from their Purple Passions pack, okay? And that is it, you guys. That is how I prep my scales, okay? So I am going to go ahead and prep all my scales, and then I'll be back to show you how to curl them, how to assemble. And actually, I think right now what I'm going to do too is I am going to show you now on Cricut Design Space the center, okay? Because so the center, I am using the marigold image. It's a center that I tend to use a lot. So if you follow me, you know I tend to use that image a lot on Cricut. And I'm going to show you what the image looks like and the measurements that you're going to need and how many sheets, because I did use 4 different colors within that center. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now, so that way you can have it ready. Okay, you guys, so back on Design Space, and now let's get the palm ready to go. So this is the image. As you can see, that orange, I don't know, is it orange, yellow? It's like the marigold. Honestly, you know what? It is the marigold color because it is actually called marigold. So let me show you. So don't type in the word marigold in the search when you're searching for images, because you're gonna get so many marigolds. Before I was able to find this image right away, but now I find it that there's just other marigold images that sometimes it's not right in the front and you have to scroll. So the quickest way for you to find the image is just to type all this in right here. Just make sure that you're typing in the hashtag too, okay? Or the number #, whatever you want to call it. And then these letters and numbers right here, okay? And type that in. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me replace. Okay, so here is what the image is going to look like. Now you are going to have to adjust the sizing. So let me give you the measurements that you're going to need. So width 7.741, height 6.883. So these are the measurements that I have for this one right here, okay? Now you are going to cut this image 4 times in 4 different colors. I want to say that I use 2 shades of purple, a light and a dark, a light blue, and a light pink, okay? I think for this one, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do the same colors, just different shades in those, but I don't know. Let me figure out what colors I'm gonna do. I also wanted to mention, you don't have to duplicate this 4 times, only because, I mean, you can just load the paper again when cutting. Now, I typically move this right here just because, I don't know, I'm always scared that the edge is going to cut it. And you want to make sure too, so if you're going to be using glitter, make sure you're using the glitter cardstock. But I am just using regular cardstock, 65-pound weight. So I'm just going to cut it in the cardstock setting, okay? And again, I'm only going to just do it once, and then I'm just going to load and unload, okay, until I cut off 4. Now, this is the one I use. I use a medium cardstock setting for my 65 pounds. I don't know if I need a new blade or what. My maker just has never really been able to cut 65-pound cardstock with the light cardstock. I don't know if it's just my machine or what. So I always have to resort to this one right here, this cardstock setting, okay? So let me go ahead and cut out my 4, and then I'm gonna show you how to assemble that center. All right, you guys, so the petals are all prepped. So I already laid the little scales on them, not little, but. So now you're gonna need a wooden dowel, and we're gonna curl the petals, okay? So these 3, notice I curled them over here on the left side, I curled them forward, and then the right side, I curled them back. This is facing me left, right. So then over here, the other 3 are gonna go the opposite. So then this side, I'm gonna curl back, and then this side I'm going to curl forward. So then that way I'm going to have 3 one way, 3 the other way. And you are going to do this for the other sizes as well. Okay, so notice these 3 over here on the left, this is curled forward, these are back, and then these are back, and these are forward. And again, you're going to do that for the smaller ones as well, okay? So then you're gonna get your petal, and if you have my template 58 and have seen the other tutorials on her, I mean, they're pretty much assembled exactly the same way that I typically do for my template 58. But again, remember, template 58 has 4 petals, so in that one tutorial that I share, I do use all 4 petals. For this one, we're only doing 3. Just to give it a different look. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our largest petals, and we're gonna glue these around in a circle, alternating the petals, okay? So this flower is pretty big, so you probably won't be able to see it full. So we're gonna start with a little bit of glue in the corner. So now I'm gonna come over here, and I'm gonna get this petal over here. I'm gonna move these actually to the side. So our goal here is to go around in a circle. You're going to add a small dot of glue just in case we need to lift a petal up and readjust. Just a small dot. And just go around. Definitely watch your fingers with the hot glue. Okay, now I'm going to secure this one. kind of move that one. Apologies if you hear my kids. It's the next day and they are home. So there we go. We are done. So this is your goal right here. Do you see that circle right here? This is your goal. If you have a circle, you're on the right track. Now we need to cover up that circle. So we need, let me grab another sheet. If I could find another one. Pause. I need to get a scrap. Okay, so I have a circle here. I put it, now this one is a little bit off shade. So the one thing I've noticed too sometimes, I think this is an old one, because with Michael's, I've noticed sometimes the shade, even though you buy the same pack, sometimes the shade is slightly off. This is the same color, but I think this might be an older one. But anyways, you can't really tell, can you? No. Anyways, okay, so we have our first layer. So now you're gonna go and get your second one. Now, if you wanted to use all 4 petals from template or from 58, because remember I told you there's 4 different petals that come with it, you can, okay? So now we're gonna glue this in between these petals and you're just gonna go around. Honestly, it's such a simple flower to assemble. It's just the time-consuming part is gluing the scales. And then just go around and glue. And then I don't know if I mentioned the glue gun. I am using the Surebonder, the full size glue gun. And then the nozzle does not come with it. I did purchase that separately from them. They have a pack that has like 4 different nozzles, and I just changed the nozzle because I prefer the thinner nozzle. Although I want to say that they came out with a full-size glue gun now that has a thin nozzle. I want to say that they did. I don't know. I just find that a thinner nozzle, for especially with paper flowers, I don't know. I just find it helps me out more. So there we go. We have our second layer. So now we are on to our third layer, and you're going to repeat the same thing. Now we're going to go in between and just make sure that you're alternating the curl. So the curl here is going forward. So I'm going to glue that in between these petals now. So now that this petal is curled forward, I'm going to grab the next petal that is curled back. And that's it. Such a simple flower. And again, I kept her simple just because I want the center is also the main attraction here for this flower. Okay, almost done. Now this, I don't know if I mentioned, I forgot, but this template also comes in a smaller version for other sizes. So if you want the other smaller sizes, you could do the same flower. You just have to scale down the scales and all that, okay? And voila, there we go. We are done with the flower portion. So now we are on to the center. And remember, I showed you that marigold image and I told you to cut out 4 sheets. So I did do a pink. I have a blue here. I have a slightly darker purple. And then, sorry, I have to grab my, my other one. And then I have a lighter pink here, okay? So I did cut out 4. Just because this is cardstock, I find that 4 is a perfect, 4 is a perfect amount, just because when it comes to rolling, when you're working with cardstock and you're layering, it's very hard if you layer it to roll it. Now, if you were going to use text weight paper, then you can definitely add more colors if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do 4. So here we go. What you're going to do, figure out which way you want to do it, for honestly, it doesn't, I'm just gonna go with the darker color here. I'm gonna add glue. I'm gonna go with the pink. So then I'm gonna grab the pink and I am going to layer that right on top. And then glue that. Next one. I'm gonna do the blue. Okay, and then the next one, we're gonna do the lighter purple. Just like that. So now you're gonna repeat the same thing. So we're gonna flip it, add glue to this side, glue down the pink. Repeat with the blue. And then last one, purple. Okay, so this is what you should have. So now we are going to have to glue this. Now I like to give it a little bend, not a lot, because you don't want to smush it in half, okay? So now we are going to add glue down here. And we are going to glue this other side on top. Now, when you do this, you're going to feel it's heavy. It's definitely a heavy center. Now, next, what I like to do is I like to give it a bend again right here from the bottom because we're going to roll this, okay? But because of this cardstock, I guess I'm kind of like warming it up so it's easier to roll. Okay. Now we're going to roll. So again, if you have text weight paper available, now a lot of Michael's colors, I don't know if you're aware or not, I think it's mostly online. They do have text weight paper. I have seen it occasionally here and there at the stores, but lately I have not. So I don't know if it's only an online thing that they sell their text weight paper online. But I mean, again, I seen it a couple of months ago there, so I don't know. But Michael's, Hobby Lobby, I mean, there's a lot of places that do sell text weight paper, okay, you guys? So honestly, it'd probably be easier to work with right now. So now we're just gonna roll. You are going to roll, but you are gonna have to put some strength because it is kind of heavy. Or not heavy, but hard. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here because when I roll, I'm going to try to secure that. Just keep rolling. I'm telling you, if you try this, you know what I'm talking about. Oh man. All right. So now we got our palm. You're going to have to hold it for a couple of seconds. Now, again, it's very thick. It really is. So if I were to let this go, it's going to come apart. So now what I like to do to make sure to secure this is I am going to add glue to the bottom. Just don't burn your fingers, you guys. So to make sure that this all holds. Okay, and then I'm gonna let it dry. So I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna give this about a minute, minute and a half until I know that it's completely cooled off, and then I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. So mine is completely dry. So you need to make sure that you're holding it though while you're waiting for that minute, minute and a half, because if you don't, it's not going to hold. So my palm is ready. And again, if you try this, you will know what I am talking about, because again, we're layering cardstock and hot glue, so it does become a little bit harder to manipulate, to work with. So yeah, this is why we did this, just to secure that center. So now we have our palm here. So now we are just going to, I like to pull these down one by one and then separate the colors. Okay, so there's our 4 colors. So again, pull one down and separate. Okay, so this is what you're gonna do. I mean, this part can also be time consuming because we are trying to make sure that we're separating all the colors. I feel like I'm missing one here. Where's the other one? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so yeah, so this is what we are going to do. So I am going to go ahead and do that. So I first start off with the bottom layer and separate. Okay, so I don't start from the top, I start from the bottom. I pull down and separate. So again, pull down and separate the colors with your fingers. Just like that. Okay, and that's what you're gonna have. So let me go ahead and finish this palm by separating, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I am nearing the end here, separating. I just have a few on top right here to separate. I think I got them all. So there you go. There is my colorful palm. Isn't she cute? So then you're going to get your flower, and then you are going to glue her at the center. Work quickly when you do this, because remember we did add glue before to kind of hold that. So when you add hot glue to that part where we added glue, it starts to melt. So that's why you want to work quickly to glue her down, so then that other glue that we laid first doesn't start separating. Okay, not sure if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. And there you go. I'm going to put her on the floor over here so you can get a better look, just because right here I feel like you can't see the whole flower. All right, you guys, and there she is. She is all completed, mermaid inspired. Again, you can do whatever you want color wise. I just wanted to share that technique with you. Sorry, I don't know why this phone lately has been like not focusing right. It must, I don't know, something with my settings maybe on my phone. But I hope you found that helpful on how to make this mermaid inspired flower. Remember, I used my template 58 along with Cricut images to create this. If you have any questions and need help, please message me and I'd be happy to help, either my Instagram, Ariel Elise Designs, or my Etsy, Ariel Elise Designs there too. I'd be happy to help. The template can be found there. And yeah, I hope you found that helpful, and stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing another floral that I did from that mermaid set, and I'll be sharing that tutorial with you guys. All right, bye.